It's the beginning of the year, so everybody's thinking about New Year's resolutions. And you might be saying, well, I don't need to listen to this Tino's For What It's Worth episode because you all know about New Year's resolutions and you all know what you need to do. However, the statistics prove out that only 7% of people actually keep all of their New Year's resolutions, and something like 19% say they keep some of them. Most of you know I used to work for the YMCA for a number of years, and we always knew that there'd be this big rush of people coming into the Y in January, all pumped up to lose weight, to get stronger, to feel healthier. But we also knew that in a few months we probably wouldn't see most of those people again. So I looked up a statistic around fitness centers, and I wasn't surprised to find out that 80% of the people that join a fitness center in January by the 5th month are gone. So maybe the 5 or 6 tips that I'm going to give you today you might find helpful, you might find useful, you might not, but at the end I'm going to ask you to give me something to maybe help you to keep at least a key New Year's resolution. So here are my tips. First of all, stretch. We always talk about stretch goals, but keep them real. I think about running a marathon. I've run a couple marathons. Well, you don't start out, you say you want to run a marathon and you've never run a race, that you're going to run a marathon in a year. Maybe you want to run a 5K or a 10K or walk a 5K, whatever it might be, but set a goal that's a stretch for you, but also realistic. Number 2, don't set 20 goals. Now I have a certain process that I use when I work with anybody that's worked with me in terms of developing an operating plan. And it is pretty aggressive, and it also has many, many goals. But what happens sometimes is if you have too many goals, then none of them become a priority and you lose focus. So I would say set 2 or 3 goals in terms of your New Year's resolution and just focus on those. Because too many, you're going to lose a focus, and none of them will become a priority. Number 3 is focus on behaviors as much or more as you will focus on outcomes. We have a person in our office that we're very proud of that's lost 70 pounds over the course of a couple of years. And she really focuses on little steps, on her diet, on exercise. She also had a jar that she brought in an office with different size rocks. And when she loses a certain amount of weight, she would put a rock into the jar, and that would be a way to have her feel like she's making progress and accomplishing something. But it's a step at a time. It's focus on that. Number 4, don't always look at the big goal because it's going to be overwhelming. I'm listening to an audiobook called Will. It's about Will Smith. I'm really enjoying it. He's a Philadelphia guy, and I spent a number of years in Philadelphia. One of the things he talks about is his dad had him and his brother build a 12-foot wall. And it became daunting because every day they'd come after school or on the weekends, and they'd work on this wall. And until he started focusing on every brick, to make every brick just fit into place just right, he said the job became a little easier than putting a brick in when you're thinking about a 12-foot wall, and it's all the rest of the wall that has to be built. So the little steps, and focus on the smaller thing versus the big thing. And finally, get an accountability buddy. Someone that you trust that's going to give you attaboys when you make a small accomplishment, and also maybe they have an accountability as well. So you can go back and forth and really track what you set. The more you talk to people about your goal, oftentimes the better you'll do. So finally, my challenge to you, or my suggestion to you in this For What It's Worth episode, is to go ahead and put a message to me on LinkedIn that gives me one goal that you're going to focus on this year, something you're going to accomplish. I'd love to hear that, for what it's worth.